Welcome. In this video, I'm going to share some tips and tricks that will make bottle feeding easier for you and your baby. We'll cover teething tips and other helpful advice so you can enjoy a stress-free experience. 1. What are some tips for bottle feeding? Bottle feeding can be a daunting task for first-time parents. To make bottle feeding easier, here are some tips to help you out. 1. Choose the right bottle. Make sure to consider the size, shape, and type of bottle that is most suitable for your baby. Try different types and brands until you find one that works best for your little one. 2. Warm the milk up properly. Unnecessarily cold or hot milk can cause discomfort in babies. Use a bottle warmer or run warm tap water over it to warm up the milk if necessary. 3. Hold your baby when feeding. Make sure to keep your baby close during feedings. Holding them upright helps them swallow easier. If your baby is struggling to eat, try gently rubbing their back or head. 4. Use the right teat size. Teats come in different sizes and flow rates. Make sure to choose the right one suitable for your baby's age and feeding needs. It is also important to regularly check and replace the teat if it is worn or cracked. 5. Monitor milk intake. Do not overfeed your baby by forcing them to finish all the milk in a bottle. Trust your instincts on how much they need. Pay attention to signs that they have had enough, such as pushing away from you or refusing to suckle at the end of a feed. 2. How can I make bottle feeding easier for my baby? Feeding your baby a bottle can be a challenging task, especially when teething is involved. Here are some tips to make feeding time smoother and easier for both you and your little one. Use the right nipple. Make sure you get the right size and shape of nipple for your baby. A wrong-sized or shaped nipple can cause chafing and discomfort while feeding, which may lead to vocalizing or even screaming during the process. Warm up the milk. Different babies prefer different temperatures of their milk, so experiment to find what works best for your child. If it's too hot or cold, they may refuse to feed altogether. Experiment with positions. Whether it's upright, semi-upright, or lying down, different positions can make a big difference in how comfortable your baby is during the feeding. Have patience. Teething can cause frustration and distress for babies, so don't be surprised if it takes them longer than normal to finish the bottle. Just stay calm and offer encouragement. It will help keep your little one engaged and happy during the process. Offer distraction. Distracting your baby with toys or music helps keep their focus away from their gums and onto something else, making mealtime more enjoyable for everyone. 3. What should I do if my baby is teething during a bottle feeding session? If your baby is teething during a bottle feeding session, there are several things you can do to make the experience easier for both of you. Firstly, try to be patient and understanding. Remember that teething is a natural part of growing up, and it can be uncomfortable for your baby. Secondly, consider changing the temperature of the milk slightly. If your baby usually takes formula or breast milk at room temperature, try giving it cold instead. The coldness may relieve some of the discomfort associated with teething. Thirdly, give your baby something cool to chew on between sips. This could be a frozen cloth or even a chilled spoon. Just make sure it's not too cold. Lastly, make sure to take regular breaks from feeding and give your baby a few minutes to chew on something or be distracted by another activity. With a little bit of patience, bottle feeding during teething can still be an enjoyable experience for both you and your baby. 4. Are there any products that can help with teething and bottle feeding? Yes, there are several products available to help with teething and bottle feeding. Teethers are one of the most popular options for relieving pain associated with teething, and they can also be used while baby is drinking from a bottle. You can find them in many different shapes and sizes, so you may want to experiment with a few different ones to see what works best for your little one. Other helpful items include insulated bottles designed to keep formula or breast milk at a comfortable temperature, as well as bottles that are easier for tiny hands to grip without spilling. Finally, special nipple guards can make it easier for babies who have difficulty latching onto bottles. With these tips and the right products, bottle feeding will become much smoother for both you and your baby. 5. What are the signs of a successful feed? A successful feed is evidenced by a full stomach, restfulness after the meal, and contentment. The number of wet or soiled diapers can also be an indicator of how much milk was taken in. If there are at least 6 to 8 wet diapers per day, it usually indicates adequate intake. It's important to talk to your pediatrician if you have any concerns about the baby's feeding habits or weight gain. By following these tips and talking with your baby's healthcare provider, you can make bottle feeding easier for both you and your little one. 6. Is it normal to feel anxious when you first bottle feed your baby? Yes, it is perfectly normal to feel anxious or overwhelmed when bottle feeding for the first time. It can be a daunting experience, but with the right preparation and support, you can make bottle feeding easier for both you and your baby. If possible, have someone else there to help when you are bottle feeding your baby for the first time. They can provide assistance, advice, and moral support if needed. If this isn't an option, then take some deep breaths and relax before beginning your feeding session. 7. Are there any techniques or strategies that can help reduce stress while bottle feeding your baby? Yes, there are several strategies you can use to help reduce stress while bottle feeding your baby. The first is to make sure that you have a comfortable spot where you can sit and feed your baby without any distractions. You should also try to create an atmosphere that is as soothing and relaxing as possible for both you and your baby. If the room is too loud or too bright, move to somewhere quieter or dimmer. Additionally, be sure not to rush through feedings. Taking things slowly and calmly will help both of you relax more. Lastly, having someone else around who can offer additional support, such as another family member, can be helpful in reducing stress levels during bottle feeding sessions. With a little preparation and practice, bottle feeding can be a much more enjoyable experience for both you and your baby. We hope this video has been helpful in providing you with tips and tricks to make bottle feeding easier for both baby and parent. Remember that teething is a natural process, so don't be too hard on yourself if it's taking longer than expected. If you have any other questions or concerns, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Make sure to subscribe for more parenting content like this one. We'll see you soon.